Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Hardcam Heat. Road takes are hot, the filter is gone, pipe bombs might get dropped, and nothing in wrestling is safe. So let's get into the last week, which is very long. So this might be a long one. Enjoy the ride. Lock in. AEW Redemption, 3.5 stars, B minus grade. Ladder match to determine number one contender for the International Championship. It was a great match, lots of ladder spots, lots of table spots. Jack Perry hit a fucking brutal Canadian destroyer on Nick Wayne, who was into a ladder, and Nick Wayne's head went through the rungs of the ladder, so that probably fucking sucked. Speedball Mike Bailey gets the win. Crowd went absolutely nuts. Mox and Ospreay versus the Young Bucks. Will came out with Mox, not by himself like he has been. Nick Jackson got hurt early on. Ospreay showed compassion and told the ref to check on him. Moxley got mad at Will for that. Marina Shafir got involved to help Mox and Ospreay control Matt. Later in the match, Ospreay accidentally hit a forearm on Mox. Ospreay couldn't pull the trigger on hitting Nick in the head later in the match. Marina got super kicked by accident by Matt Jackson. Mox loses his mind, grabs a chair. The ref tries to grab it from him. He shoves the ref down. Ospreay stops him from using it. Matt super kicks the chair into Ospreay's face, and then we get a super kick party from the Bucks to Moxley to win. So the Young Bucks over Mox and Ospreay. Then we had Bandito versus Kyle Fletcher for the International Championship. Match was super long, but not in an annoying way. It was back and forth the whole time with constant big moves. Like every other move was a big one, which kept the match entertaining. Fletcher hit Bandito with a turnbuckle brainbuster, which was more of a rope brainbuster, which had to be absolutely terrifying if you're Bandito, thinking that you're going to the turnbuckle and you're not even close to it. But anyway, Fletcher retains and did it without the Callis family, so I was wrong. I apologize. I called bullshit that the Callis family would not come. Bang Bang Gang versus the Dogs double chain match. I don't remember the exact spot or what happened, but Jay White almost put himself back on the shelf with a broken neck. I don't remember what happened. I just remember going, after the match, during the match, the Death Riders took out Jay White and Marina Shafir passed the shillelagh to Finlay, and the Dogs picked up the win. I don't know if Jay White actually did hurt his neck, or if he's just selling the shillelagh hit, but I haven't seen him since Redemption, so we'll find out, I guess. Backstage, Moxley and Ospreay have some beef going on. Ospreay says he's not looking to hurt anyone, especially when the match doesn't mean anything. Moxley tells him to open his eyes, look around. He tells him he can't be the good guy all the time. Moxley says he won't be there when he learns the lesson the hard way. And if Ospreay won't pull the trigger, then he will. So stay tuned on that. Maya World is your new... Which title? TBS champion. Yeah, sorry. Couldn't remember for a minute. But Maya World won the TBS championship. Well deserved for the past few months that she's been through. And it was her birthday. So let's give Maya World... Where is it? The Demand a trios title shot versus, I'm not even going to try the word, Orange Cassidy's crew on Wednesday. Cage and Cope versus Claudio and Pac. When Cope was making his entrance, he got jumped by the Death Riders. Christian came out to make the save. Got taken out on the ramp. Death Riders dominate. almost the entire match. Until Death Riders were going to give the corner uppercuts, and they got met with boots to faces. And then the Death Riders got speared, so Cope and Cage retained the titles. Out came the Young Bucks. There was a stare down, and it's official at All In: Young Bucks versus Cage and Cope. Cope shook the Bucks' hands. Christian wouldn't. Not a shocker there. Then we had Painmaker Chris Jericho versus Tommaso Ciampa. No holds barred. I absolutely love no holds barred matches. If you love weapons, if you love gore, go try to find that match. It's well worth it. We had barbed wire baseball bats, a barbed wire mirror. We had a drill. We had a sandpaper machine. We had hockey sticks. We had garbage cans. We had hockey pucks with thumbtacks on them. We had more thumbtacks. We had a mirror with barbed wire. We had a normal mirror. Awesome. Oh, and we had Tommaso Ciampa wrestling a stuffy and Aubrey Edwards counting a pin for that. Very interesting match. Very good, though. I thoroughly enjoyed it. WWE could never with the weapons that they used or the amount of blood that was in the match. Really good match, seriously. If you love that kind of shit, go back and watch it. It gave me Attitude Era vibes. So, but Jericho picked up the win in the end with a drill to Ciampa's head. There was a very weird segment backstage with Mick Foley interviewing Divine Dominion. Very uncomfy. Look it up if you want. I'm not getting into it. Mark Davis versus Andrade for the national championship. It was back and forth. Andrade got the win to become your new AEW national champion. Speedball Mike Bailey is calling his shot on August 5th, which is an episode of Dynamite. Tekla versus Willow for the AEW Women's Championship. I guess the mic shot a couple of days ago that Tekla gave to Willow made her need stitches in her ear, so she came out with a bandaged ear, which Tekla targeted and opened it up. Sky Blue tried interfering, and she paid for it. Tekla hits a spear on Willow, goes for the stomp. She missed. Willow gets the backslide pin and wins, and is your new AEW Women's Champion, and will face Mercedes Moné at All In. She's also the first women's... Sorry, my cat. She's the first women's Grand Slam champ, so another... There it is. Alright. Then we got Kenny Omega versus Kevin Knight. Before the bell started, Knight took his wrist tape and choked out Kenny. That pissed off Kenny. Once the bell rang, he went right at Knight. It was a great match. Kevin Knight tried bringing the belts in. It kind of works, but not really. Omega won with the one-winged angel to retain. Death Riders came out and attacked Omega after the match. So that's what Moxley was talking about with, like, if you won't pull the trigger, I will. Young Bucks tried to make the save, but the numbers game prevailed on that one. Death Riders put a chair around Kenny's neck. Ospreay came in for the save. Moxley comes into the ring telling him he has to pull the trigger. Mox handed Ospreay the plastic bag, which they used on Bryan Danielson. Ospreay looks like he's going to do it, but then rips the bag and punches Moxley. He fought off the rest of the Death Riders after. He discarded the Death Riders logo that he was wearing. He sees the title. He goes to hand it to Kenny Omega. Kenny sees the bag and is questioning, like, what the fuck is that for? The title is awkwardly given to Kenny. They shake hands. Ospreay tells him, from this moment on, it's you and me. They get the crowd going while Ospreay is on the turnbuckle, like, cheering with the crowd and stuff. Kenny puts him on his shoulders, hits the one-winged angel on him, grabs the bag and points at it, and the Bucks try to come calm him down, but, I mean, what's done is done. And then they pose to the hard cam to end the show. Now we're gonna go to Monday Night Raw. The go home Monday Night Raw before SummerSlam. 2.5 stars, a D grade, and I think that might be being nice. We had Oba Femi versus Brock for the weigh-in. Brock wouldn't come in. He locks the cell door, so Oba, the cops, Adam Pearce, and Triple H are in the cage. Heyman gets on the mic, which ends up not working. I don't know if they didn't check the microphones before the show, but Mike was cutting in and out like every word that Paul was saying. But anyway, when the mic wasn't working too, Brock Lesnar was breaking character the entire time. Basically, Paul Heyman was just bragging about how great Brock is and how Oba can't beat him at Hell in a Cell. Magically, he weighed himself in the back and is 1 pound heavier than Oba. Ironic, isn't it? Oba reiterates how he's not locked in there with Brock. Brock's locked in there with him. Then Oba destroys all the cops, including one who sandbagged his finisher, and then he gave him a legit kick to the ribs, like a punt to the ribs after, because he was pissed off. I don't blame him. I don't think we'll see that dude in the future, but then we got the Vision vs. Alpha Academy. Theory wanted no part of Otis. Logan Paul, with the distraction, helped the Vision win. Otis was going to hit the Vision with another move after the match, but Maxine flirted him out of it to let the Vision fuck him up. Theory nailed Otis in the head with the chair against the ring post. On the entrance and after the match, Braun Breaker looks so disinterested, and I don't blame him. What are we doing with this character? What is his booking? So, if I'm him, I'm pissed too. And the Vision was doomed from the start with all the injuries. But anyway, LA Knight's in the back saying, of course, he's paranoid about everything. He said, of course, he's paranoid. Everything that he said would happen has happened. And he says he's going to beat down the bloodline at SummerSlam. Rusev versus Javon Evans. Evans started out fast as always. Rusev slowed him down during the commercial. Look this part up. I guarantee you it's on Twitter. Javon Evans countered the Machka kick, and it was super sick. He, countered it into a cutter. Just look it up. Take my word for it. Look it up. It was absolutely sick. But Evans got the win. Earlier in the match, Rusev might have got hurt when Evans hit the red dot. He left the ring after that spot and told the ref his hand went numb. And then at the end of the match, Rusev rolled out of the ring like he kind of no-sold it. And a lot of people are giving him shit for that and saying that he stormed out because he's not happy with his booking. If it is something injury-wise, I don't think it's anything major. I mean, he carried on the rest of the match just fine. So maybe he just got a stinger. But if that was a bitch fit that he just threw, they gotta you gotta get rid of him if that's a bitch fit. There's no room for that in the locker room. And he saw the grass ain't greener on the other side for him personally. So, I mean, I don't mean this in a fucked up way, but I hope it was more on the injury side and not a bitch fit. Then we got... Oh, yeah, okay. Before we had Ethan Page and Rey Mysterio, I'm not gonna lie, at the beginning of the Joe Hendry segment, I thought it was Elias with the guitar strum. What the fuck were we watching there? Is this really what it's coming to fill the time on the go-home show to SummerSlam? That's really what we have to use as a fucking filler? There's nothing else we can think of? And then Ryan Garcia helped the Judgment Day, hitting Hendry in the back with a guitar. Judgment Day beats up Danhausen and Minihausen. The entire 3.5-minute concert could have just, not been that long or a thing. I'll probably get into this more later because the whole thing pissed me clean off. But Ryan Garcia is not really the best person that you want to like promote at all. Ugh, fucking stupid ass segment pissed me off. All right, then we got Ethan Page versus Rey Mysterio. Ethan Page used the ring apron to block the 619. I'm not sure I've ever seen that before in my life. I thought it was pretty cool and nifty. But yeah, that helped him pick up the win. So Ethan Page defeated Rey Mysterio. Human Money's on a pole match at SummerSlam. I can't lie, I'm a sucker for gimmick matches, and I love Danhausen. So, and I love Dirty Dom. So, yep, Dirty Dom, Danhausen, Human Money's on a pole match at SummerSlam. Solo came out. He was making fun of Jey Uso. I really hope he stays a babyface because he is so fucking funny. It's, oh god, golden. He says the real bloodline had Solo in it. Tells them they don't have a chance at SummerSlam. Jimmy says the bloodline is the best thing that ever happened to Solo. He tells him to make it easy and come back to the bloodline, or else. Solo tells Usos to tell Roman he can kiss his ass. Out comes LA Knight, makes fun of the old Samoan tribe dance that the Usos used to do. Says at SummerSlam it's over with and he'll see him then. Stops and says, or him and Solo can come beat them up in a four-way brawl. Out comes Jacob Fatu. He takes out LA Knight and Solo. Out comes Royce Keys. He beats the Usos up. Fatu and Keys stare down, come to blows. Jacob no-sold a clothesline. Hit Keys with the tongue and death grip. Solo and Knight saved him. They took out the bloodline to stand tall at the end of that segment. So, going into SummerSlam, Knight, Solo, and Keys stood tall. We get Raquel Rodriguez versus Sol Ruca for the Intercontinental title. Lyra was shown watching in the back, so she's probably going to be back in that title picture soon. Which, ironically, bringing up Lyra, Raquel got her nose busted in this match, just like Lyra did with Bayley a couple weeks ago. Judgment Day came out to help Raquel. Io came out to help. Liv beats her ass momentarily. Io hit the bullet train on Liv, who's against the ring post. The distraction lets Roxanne trip up Sol while she was going for the Soul Snatcher. So Raquel could hit her Tahina Bomb and defeated Sol Ruca. Alright, last segment for Raw. Roman came out, tries doing his acknowledge me bit, and Seth interrupted. Tells the crowd to acknowledge him instead. Roman Reigns calls him an asshole. Seth agrees with him, says that he is an asshole. Tells Roman he's everything he says he is, like Roman is everything that Roman says he is. But there's one thing he'll never be better than him at, and that's professional wrestling. Tells Roman he owns his ass in the ring in his mind. Says the bloodline will come in and do his dirty work because he can't do it on his own. Reigns says that he's the only real superstar. Seth says he can't wait for Reigns' kids to cry seeing that Reigns is a loser. And that Reigns is Rollins' bitch. Reigns kicks his ass, goes to get a chair, but gets a stomp on the chair instead. One day Roman will learn to leave chairs out of it, but probably not at SummerSlam. Alright. Then we got NXT, and I gave that 4 stars and a B grade. Pretty good show. Grayson Waller. If you haven't seen, go look at the whole thing, but I'll try to put a bunch of it in for you. Grayson Waller opens with a pipe bomb, and he says he was on top of the world and he doesn't know what happened. Says the past 2 years of his career have been an embarrassment. He spent it carrying 240 pounds of idiot, aka Austin Theory, on his back, making him relevant again so much that the crowd chanted him. He calls Theory the Marty Jannetty. Damn. Last year he pretended he was at a funeral. Ironic his career was dying. Says he has demons. The one keeping him up at night is the NXT Championship. Says he'll take it. No one's going to stop him. Not Cruz Montana, who is Mike Santana's new name. Tells him they won't care about him in 6 weeks. He brutally demolished TNA's locker room. Just fucking brutally demolished them. He calls out Tony D'Angelo, calls Tony his newborn ugly, which that's just fucked. Leave the kids out of it. Tells Shawn Michaels if he wants him to wrap it up, tune up the band and come out. Yikes. Tells the locker room to get off TikTok and watch the show. Calls the locker room soft. Says the women are running laps around the men's locker room. 10% is ready for a call-up, and they're all women. Says the indies are great wrestlers, but they can't talk. They can't cut a promo. He says HBK is probably in the back smiling because he's telling the truth finally. Says he'll take the title and division. Then his mic gets cut off. He uses the camera guy and says, "You don't want to give me a chance, WWE. I took one. Consider cages rattled." Grayson Waller's always been phenomenal on the mic, and he's a good wrestler too. I agree that he is not given chances. But what a fucking promo. Obviously, it's, part of the story. But, damn. That was a fucking good one. Alright. In the back, we see Miles Bourne, Mason Rook, Tavion Heights backstage getting mad about Waller. Mason says he changes the topic, says he's going to get his hands on Cam Hendrick tonight, which is Miles' opponent. Tavion says he'll keep Mason in the back. Mason basically says, bet, try me. Then we got Lizzie Rain versus Izzy Dame. Crowd was super into it towards the middle to the end. Back and forth match the entire way. Lizzie was going to go for the finish. Nico Vance interfered. Sean Spears faked him out with a chair shot. He popped behind him, had the chair and, flinched at him. And Nico, went to the ground like a puss. But anyway, the distraction helped Lizzie win. Noam Dar, Romeo Moreno, and Cruz Montana are backstage talking. Saquon Sugars comes. Tells Cruz he's a changed man. Cruz don't believe him. Kalani Jordan comes and tells Cruz to know what he's getting himself into because NXT is unfair. Says she's always screwed over. Tells him to run while he can. Cruz walks away without her noticing. And then she notices after he's fully gone and says, just like everyone else, he'll fit in perfect. Vanity Project is pissed that Stone gave Bourne and Heights a free title shot. In comes Keanu Carver. Micah likes her some Carver. Carver wants a match next. Yeah, Carver wants a match against EK Prosper next week. Stone gets a phone call. It's Grayson Waller. Tells Grayson to come back to the building, that they are not finished. Cam Hendricks versus Miles Bourne for the North American Championship. Rook came out and Tavion stopped him so that Miles could get the win. Then Tavion moved to let Rook beat up Cam. Vanity Project came out and attacked Bourne and Heights. It didn't work out for them, though. Ifren Sinclair successfully defends her speed title next week. She will earn a shot at Zaria's North American title. Then we got Birthright versus OTM. Los Garza accidentally cost OTM the match. Lucian's pissed. Bronco's going to have to decide soon. Is he with Los Perros Del Mal or is he OTM still? We'll find out. I think we all know where that one's going. Shiloh Hill versus Tristan Angels. Shiloh Hill gets the win. I don't know how to explain the move, but it was a weird swinging neck breaker off the top rope. I don't know. It was weird, but it was cool. Cruz Montana is out top. He talks about where he came from. WWE was always his dream. His voice kept cracking, so he's proud of himself. And he's emotional over it. Tony D'Angelo came out, says he believes everything that he said except for becoming NXT champion. He also referred to Grayson Waller as Kangaroo Jack. That was fucking hilarious. Cruz cuts him off and tells him how he's gonna take that spot. Grayson Waller came out, hit Montana from behind. Montana went to hit Waller, but hit D'Angelo by accident, and that's pretty much the end of the show. So now we are going to get into AEW Dynamite. Alright, I gave this one 4 stars and a B+ grade. Show opened by showing what we didn't see on Sunday. The Death Riders live reaction to Omega turning on Ospreay. Moxley says he tried telling him. Says Will Ospreay is the best wrestler in the world with nothing to lose. Then we see Will Ospreay arrive. Death Riders meet him in the alley. Daniel Garcia caught an elbow shot from Will. Ospreay tells Mox he doesn't get to pull the trigger for him. Hands him the Death Riders patch and says he's out. Moxley says, "Is that so?" Hangman Page now stops Will. Says if he needs anything to let him know. Ospreay says he can't trust Kenny, so he can't trust Hangman. Says he'll do it on his own. Hangman stops him again. Says he's gonna be the best he's ever been at Wembley. Tells him he's got this, and Will thanks him. Jack Perry versus Nick Wayne versus Andrade for the AEW National Championship. Perry goes after Andrade to start, which shocked me as far as him and Nick. It shocked me because him and Nick Wayne have been fighting the past few weeks. Jack Perry was way too cocky through the whole match. He did, however, carry most of the match, in my opinion, so I guess he had a good reason. But it cost him in the end because Andrade ended up retaining. Tony Schiavone interviews him. He says he feels good because he screwed MJF and Don Callis. He could beat anyone but will be the best national champion ever, and he will also compete in the Casino Gauntlet qualifier match next week. Renee backstage with the Brawling Birds says Divine Dominion is ducking them, says whenever they see each other, ball up your knuckles, it'll be time to brawl. Sorry, there's something in my throat. Renee's backstage with the Callis family now. Fletcher says he won yesterday and the rest didn't. Don tells Kevin Knight he does need the family sometimes, so we learned a valuable lesson. Tells Kyle he hope he can retain next week. Fletcher says that the title will never leave the family. Okada comes out of nowhere and says Kyle's right. The title will never leave the family. Oh, seeds are being planted, y'all. I mean, they've been being planted, but I think we're getting real close to whatever is going to happen with them. And we got Brodito and Speedball versus Fletcher, Brian Cage, and Jake Doyle, sorry. Match was too long for me entirely. But Speedball picked up the upset over Jack Doyle. Fletcher's pissed. Speedball and him have a stare down. Then we get a sit-down interview with Cage and Cope and the Young Bucks, all sitting in one spot. Nick says it's an honor and they revolutionized tag team wrestling. Cage and Cope revolutionized it, but they did as well. Adam says, you didn't kinda, you did. And he thanks them. He says he's excited. Cage says we didn't come back to do a retirement tour, but we wanted to prove that we're the best tag team of Cage and Cope's generation and the Young Bucks generation. He adds a shot that it's good that the Young Bucks' wives are coming. So I don't know if that was a flirty thing or if it's I can't wait for them to watch you guys lose type thing. But anyway, Matt says how they haven't won the titles in 2 years, and Cope said how him and Christian haven't won the titles in 25 years because it was taken from them. The Bucks says nothing will stop them. Christian asks if they can lift their limits to beat their heroes, and that they have to beat the Bucks to prove that they're the best. So, a lot of respect in there. A lot of I need to do this for this to happen. So, then we got Persephone versus Maya World for the TBS Championship. Sheeta passed kendo stick to Persephone. Chris Statlander takes it from her to help Maya retain. Mark Davis challenged Ospreay because Ospreay doesn't have a family anymore. He'll leave the Don Callis family at home. Willow came out, enormous ovation, absolutely enormous. Damn. Speaking of enormous, my big ass leg just knocked the whole table. She got streamers in the ring too, which is very Willow like. It's awesome to watch, but she gets interviewed and a "You Deserve It" chant breaks out. She gets emotional, understandably so. She says she isn't just living a dream, she's living her dream. She had doubters along the way. People don't understand a girl like her, think that she could accomplish this. She says how she fought back from her injury to get in the gauntlet and to beat Tekla. Says if life kicks you down, just push through. The comeback's better than the dream. Out comes Mercedes Moné. She says she didn't come to ruin the celebration. She came to get a contract signed. Willow uses Moné's body to sign it, like pushed it up against her chest and then like scribbled her signature. It is official for All In. Willow brings up how she ended her long reign as TBS champion. Or is she mad that she can't get the women's title? Which is her problem today, basically. Monet says her issue with Willow is no matter the milestone, somehow Willow's name's all over it. Says at All In, she'll take Willow's smile. Out comes Divine Dominion. Willow tries fighting them off, but she can't. The Brawling Birds come out to run off Mercedes and Divine Dominion. Said it right that time. We get Commander versus Mox for the Continental Championship. Commander's balance is unmatched, dude. Like, that, I said it last week, I think. That walking the rope thing that he does, oh, what the fuck, it's so good. But, so is Mox's personality. That is also unmatched, but Mox retains. Mick Foley backstage with the Bang Bang Gang, minus Jay White, like I was saying earlier. The Dogs and the Death Riders, any combo of them versus Bang Bang Gang was the challenge made. We get the Trios Championship match. Orange Cassidy and Friends versus The Demand. The Demand was in control for the first half of the match. Orange Cassidy raked Ricochet's bald-ass head. That was some comedy gold. Jay Lethal... Oh, no. Lethal Twist interfered and helped out the Demand win the Trios titles. Both teams jumped Orange Cassidy and Friends. Brody King came out, try helping, and then out came Hangman Adam Page with a barbed wire steel chair. Lethal came in, grabbed the chair away, and got a buckshot lariat for his troubles. So that's how that segment ended. Daniel Garcia cuts a promo on Ospreay about how he's always a coward and always leaves. Says you get for being a Death Rider, it's a hard way in and a harder way out. Says he'll see him soon. Moxley says he's hearing about a Continental Cup. He doesn't care how many challengers or if this is where his reign ends, and so be it. Kenny Omega came out. Starts talking. Second he starts talking, basically, Ospreay's music immediately cuts him off. Omega says this is great, because what he's going to say doesn't need to be heard by the fans. It's personal. He only wants to say it to Will. But since he came out, let's make it fun. They're playing show and tell, and at Redemption, he showed him how he felt, and it didn't matter if the fans misunderstood it. He's going to tell us the tell part now. Said he cares about Will. He means the world to him, and he wants the world for Will. Remember the promise that they made to try their best always. Says they always put the friendship before the belt 10 times out of 10. That's the whole reason he let him in the Owen Hart tournament. Ospreay repaid him in a disappointed voice and told Kenny, you gave up on yourself and it hurt, Kenny. Does it look like he gave up? Never will someone talk down to him. He gave Will warnings about the Death Riders, but he pretended he knew better. What's his excuse now that it blew in his face? Ospreay takes the mic and says his excuse is he came back too early from neck surgery for revenge. He let it all slip through his fingers and he lost all of his confidence. He felt that he shortchanged everyone. His body crapped out on him and he couldn't deliver. He had no friends to turn to. Kenny says bullshit. He's always been there. Ospreay says Mox gave him a new life and new opportunities. Says he looked at Mox as someone who could have took him where he wanted to be. Said he liked being a Death Rider. Said it felt like the old him was. Said that it felt like he was old him, like he was in Japan. He had killers watching his back. He understood why they were so protective over this place, but that's where it ends. He doesn't share the same way of doing things. He knows how to become champion, and that's by being the best. When he saw Kenny in the same way Ospreay was when the Death Riders took him out, he couldn't take watching it. That's why he came out to save him with the chair spot. Kenny says, is that right? Because he saw himself getting beat down for minutes, and then he felt the chair. He didn't have the energy to fight back or take the chair off, so he closed his eyes and accepted his fate. And that's when he heard the people in the chair, the cheers, and he felt the energy, and he knew that Will came to save him. Once the minutes passed by, he took the chair off himself. He stood up and turned around, and the scene painted a picture, and it showed him who Will really is. Will was holding his belt, and there was a plastic bag ripped at his feet. The reason it took so long to help was because he thought about doing it, which I did say I agreed with earlier. It made it worse. Ospreay expected a thank you for a trap he set himself. Ospreay cut him off, denying that he said it himself, and he got bitch slapped and called a liar. He thought Ospreay was his friend. Ospreay says, I was. Omega says, what am I to you now? Just a challenger. Smacked him again and again. Says when Will gets in a pressure cooker, he crumbles, and that's why Omega will always be better. And he slapped him again. And then Ospreay slapped him right back finally. And then he faked out doing the elbow and said, no matter how much I love and respect you, shit. Hold on. No matter how much I love and respect you, you put your hands on me, I'll kick the shit out of you. Kenny grabs his title and hightails it. Ospreay says since he got to AEW, he filled in for Omega. And to remind everyone, this is where the best wrestle at. He's earned his spot to challenge for that championship. He's given his neck to the company, and the biggest mountain to climb climbs in front of him. The biggest mountain to climb stands in front of him, and it's a mountain that he's wanted to climb for 10 years. The ace wants the ball, says it's his turn to kick the ball. Everyone's asking the same question, can he pull the trigger? He says, you're damn right I'll pull the trigger, but I won't do it like Omega from behind or like Mox. He wants Omega at his best, and he wants the best versus the best. He's going to pull the trigger when it matters most with the title on the line, and he'll do it when Omega sees it coming. That was a lot, so take that in. But sorry for the stumbling. It just, again, it's one of those things where I want to get the words right so you get the full picture. I don't want to paraphrase anything. Now we're going to go to... Oh, that's how that show ended. Now we're going to go to AEW Collision. 3 stars, C- grade. Motor City Machine Guns opened the show. In the Motor City, too. So that was great. Chris Sabin says this is where the best wrestle and that they are all elite. We get the Rascals versus the Demand for the Trios Championship. The Demand retains. Low-key wish that Ricochet was a Rascal because he would be great in that stable. Orange Cassidy and his friends are in the Continental Cup. So is Nigel McGuinness. That's interesting. So Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, what's his face? The other one. And Nigel McGuinness have all declared that they are in the Continental Cup. I can't believe I can't remember his name right now. Tommaso Ciampa absolutely squashed Nick Comoroto. And I'll get into this later. Hangman Adam Page is thanked by Bandito. Hangman asks them if they want to challenge for the trios titles next week. Bandito says team name should be the good, the bad, the ugly. Brody says who's the ugly one, and Hangman and Bandito look at each other, look at Brody, and just walk away. It was fucking hilarious. We got Brawling Birds and Hazuki defeating Athena, Billy Starks, and DeMonte. Match was a little too long for my attention span. Divine Dominion came out and attacked after Athena beat down Hazuki. Orange Cassidy and friends did the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, which is super cool. Obviously, to anybody with ALS, fight the good fight. We're all behind you. Rebel, fight the good fight. We are behind you. But the people that dumped the ice on them, they brought out Rhino, who's also from Detroit, and the Insane Clown Posse. I was fangirling a little bit. Death Riders vs. Bang Bang Gang. Bang Bang Gang with the halfway upset of a win. The Dogs came out and attacked them, and Motor City Machine Guns came to make the save. Ciampa will be in the Casino Gauntlet qualifier. Chris Statlander squashes someone. I have no idea who the fuck it was. Fletcher and Speedball have a backstage interview. Trash talk happens. Fists go flying. It's brought to the ring, and Speedball sent Fletcher running. Holds the international title up to end the segment. Knight challenges any 3 former world champions to face him and Okada and Hechichero. I hope I said that right. Next week. Commander defeats Jay Lethal. They called it an upset. I think Tony Schiavone said, stuns the world or some shit. I don't think so. I mean, Commander's been showing how good he is every week. But anyway, he will be in the match to determine the Casino Gauntlet number 1 spot. Will Ospreay defeats Daniel Garcia. During the match, it was announced that the Don Callis family will face Jericho, Mystico, and Darby Allin, as well as Will Ospreay versus Mark Davis with no interference. Speaking of, Mark Davis attacked after the match. More Don Callis members ran down to join the beatdown. Mark tells him no one's going to save him. Ospreay fights them all off. Ospreay says if Davis wanted to bring weapons into the situation, all he had to do was ask. Maybe he needs to show everyone that there's no hesitation left. Next week, everyone will be banned from ringside, but the match will be a street fight. Ooh, I love that. But that's how that show ended. I'm going to move to TNA now. I give that 4 stars and a B+ grade. Started with Eddie Edwards and Cedric Alexander versus Leon Slater and Ricky Sosa. Slater and Sosa dominate most of the match. Alicia got involved to swing the momentum a little bit. Ultimately, Leon Slater and Sosa picked up the win. Slater ended up challenging Cedric for the X Division Championship in a cage at Lockdown. Mustafa says make sure everyone in Order 4 is ringside for his match against Hodge, and to make sure no one gets involved. That'll be interesting. I just mentioned 5 minutes ago, not even, the ALS stuff for Rebel and everybody suffering. Much love for TNA for shouting out Rebel and giving her their thoughts and saying that she'll always be part of the TNA family, even though she's an AEW member now. I thought that was really cool. But then we get Thea Hale versus Cindy Hartwell. The winner faces M by Elegance in the semifinals for the Knockouts TV title. I like both of them, so it was hard for me to root for a certain one. But Indy Hartwell picked up the win after getting her ass kicked the entire match. AJ Francis is back getting money for people, asking for medical bills, money for expressions. Rich Swann and BDE clowned him. I love that. Casey Navarro came out, cut a promo about how he failed and he felt like he didn't belong in TNA. He says then he remembered all that he's been through, says he wants to be an inspiration to kids that you can do anything you want. He knows now that he belongs, he's got to fight, and he can't quit, and he never will. Says his story is just the beginning. The system interrupted. They tried bullying him out of the ring. Cedric says no to the Leon Slater cage match at Lockdown. Eddie says enough's enough. Neither Sosa or Slater are worthy of matches against anyone in the system. Casey interrupts and says it was his time. The system isn't the gatekeepers. They're just a bunch of bitches. And then they jump him. And then Fabian Eichner, Ricky Sosa, and Leon Slater come out to his defense. And they send the system running. Allie can't find Rosemary. Their match to defend the TNA Knockouts Tag Championships will be a 2-on-1 against the Elegance brand. Damn. Xia Brookside's backstage, says she attacked Wendy Chu and Elena Black because she can. Says Black isn't even good and Wendy stuck her nose in her business. Then Wendy Chu appears, tells Xia she's a coward. Says the other girls don't think that she acts like a champion. Santino agrees. Next week, Xia Brookside versus Wendy Chu for the Knockouts Women's Championship. Elena says she hopes that Wendy beats her ass too. So, we'll see. I feel like Black might get involved in that one. Alright, we got Allie versus Elegance brand. Allie holds her own, and basically, she had to defend herself against 4 people, so she used the championship belt and got herself DQ'd. So, she retains the title, but Elegance brand wins by DQ. Rosemary is still nowhere to be found. Hardy's return. Jeff came out to his old theme song. I love it. The old TNA one, not the No More Words. Says that they are the best brother tag team ever. The Nemeths. I can't talk today. Holy shit. Nick and Ryan issue a challenge for the tag titles at Lockdown. Santino makes it official. He also made Jeff versus Nick for the World Heavyweight Championship official, and Ryan will face Matt. Daria tells Santino that she's booking a rematch for the Knockouts tag titles at Lockdown because she didn't like how that ended with Allie getting disqualified. Says she's gonna try getting Harley Hudson's contract terminated as well. Jada Stone defeated Jody Threat in the Knockouts TV tournament to advance. Jason Hodge defeated Mustafa Ali. Hold on. To win the International Championship. Order 4 may be over as we know it. Skylar grabbed the belt from Ali so we couldn't use it. Ali sidestepped Hodge, who ran into Skylar, and Tasha Steelz broke up a pin, and then she started fighting Mila more. So, think they're pretty much done there. But yeah, that was the end of TNA. Now we're going to SmackDown. The Go Home SmackDown to SummerSlam. 2 stars, D grade. Sounds like the Raw. The Go Home Raw for SummerSlam, huh? Anyway. Started out with Finn Balor. He brings up his 2016 SummerSlam. Sammy cuts him off. Big shocker there. Says he wants to see Cody win tomorrow because he's already beat Cody and he knows that he can beat him again. But he also wants to see Punk win because he calls him the biggest fraud. Calls him corporate poster boy number 2 again. Says he wants to beat who took the title from him. Tells Finn he respects him. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Tells him he respects him and everyone knows how great he is. Says Finn should have been a champ a few times by now. Tells him this moment belongs to him, not Finn. says it's all about justice, justice for Sammy. Finn says, what about justice for Finn? It's also his moment. Sammy says if it took him 10 years and he didn't come close, take the hint. Finn says took Sammy 10 years and he didn't even get a smell of the title. Says he had the title and he had to give it up in a day. Sammy had it 9 and just lost it by losing. Sammy says that's fighting words. If it was anyone else, Sammy would lay them out, but he's going to be the good guy and walk away. Out comes Gunther, and he attacks them both. Now out comes Pierce. Gunther asks what he'll need to do to get what he deserves. He threatens to beat Pierce's ass too. Finn and Sammy attack Gunther and pay for it, and out comes Nick Aldis to make the save, and he takes it to Gunther, puts him in a clover leaf, security's involved, they go back and forth. At the end, Gunther ended up getting a big boot on Aldis' face, and that's pretty much how that segment, security whisked them both away. Alright, then we got Chelsea Green and Tiffy time versus B-Fab and Michin. Since fucking when is Tiffy time so bestie with Chelsea, let alone so over the top about it? I feel like she's going to heel turn on Chelsea, and I think it could be as soon as the ladder match. I think she's a better heel anyway. But anyway, Tiffany had a real bad botch on B-Fab, so hopefully B-Fab's face is okay. Jade Cargill interference took out Tiff right after the botch. Helped her squad get the win. Out comes Charlotte. Looking like she borrowed one of Seth Rollins' jackets. Tiffany and Chelsea took out B-Fab and Michin. Jade and Charlotte square up, with Charlotte getting the better of Jade. I don't know if I said that. Yeah. Okay. B-Fab and Michin won that, by the way. I think I said it, but just in case I didn't. JD and Dom are looking for Danhausen. Ray Phoenix pretty much talks shit to them. So Dom told him JD would fight Ray Phoenix for the AAA Cruiserweight title later, and that match gets made official. So JD McDonough versus Ray Phoenix for the AAA Cruiserweight Championship later tonight. Later in the show that I'm about to talk about. Tama and Tala cut a promo of how they did the right thing leaving Solo, and now that they have to focus on their family. Haku! We see Haku! One of the most badass dudes ever. He tells his son to make people fear them again. We get Priest and Truth versus the War Raiders. Priest deserves to be a bigger star, man. He really fucking does. I really hope after SummerSlam that he gets thrown into the title picture. R-Truth also came. They were in Green Bay, Wisconsin. R-Truth came out with a cheese head hat. Anyways, AAA Tag Championships and the SmackDown Tag Championships are both on the line in this one. Poor Charles Robinson got pushed down by both teams. He calls for the bell for a DQ. They brawl a bit. I don't even know if they know that the bell rang. And then Tama and Tala come out, beat up both teams, hold up the titles. Haku came out in person, too. I thought it was just going to be that promo. So I think he might be their manager now, and that'll fucking shoot them up. I love it. I love it. I love it. Then we get backstage with Punk. He says that him and Cody have been running from the fact that maybe they don't need to be friends, and says he'll still be the champ. Trick interrupts, says he'll be coming for that championship. CM Punk says when the time comes, he will whoop that Trick. Aldis cuts a promo about why he became a GM and why he's going back to wrestling. Basically how Gunther pushed him. It's nothing that we haven't heard. Trick Williams comes out, says Baron came back just to hate on Trick. Says you woke up one morning, got out of bed, shaved your head nice, and looked like a big-ass Tommy Pickles to hate on him. Yo, the Tommy Pickles line took me right the fuck out. I wasn't expecting it. He calls out Baron, tells Baron to come out so he can trick slap him all the way to Minnesota. Baron comes out, stays on top of the ramp, says while he was away he learned valuable lessons, including patience, which Trick doesn't have, because he got a rocket on his ass right when he came to SmackDown. Trick cuts him off and says he's not better than he was the first time he was here. So Trick asks, "What's this about? You need a paycheck?" Baron won't fight him tonight. He calls Trick a dumb rookie that doesn't understand, says on Sunday he's taking that title and there's legitimately nothing he can do about it. I think he's correct. Alright. JD versus Ray Phoenix. Danhausen came out, shocker there, for a distraction. Minihausen's took out Dom. Ray Phoenix retains AAA Cruiserweight title. Lash Legend versus Julia for last spot in the ladder match. Why was that the main event of the go-home show to SummerSlam? And it was pretty much a squash match. They're just burying fucking Julia too, man. Jesus. Anyway, Lash Legend got the win. Cody and CM Punk last face-off. Cody is about to hit his whoa in his entrance, and then CM Punk's music hits, and then he walks by Cody, pats him on the head. Punk says, "Doesn't feel good, does it?" And Rhodes says he sees right through him. They've been on this path a long time. Punk says ruffling feathers is what he does. Says stop talking like it's about friends when it's about the championship. And that he's got to know who's the better man between them for business purposes. The belt's not business, it's personal, says Cody. It means you're the best in the world. Cody asks Punk what he wants to do about it tonight. Punk starts taking off his belt and his jacket. He placed the belt in between them and says, "Say when," at the fucking quote of their rivalry. Cody takes off his jacket, waits it out a bit, and then he throws the first shot, beats Punk for a bit. Punk gets back at it a little, and then officials separate them. Well, they try to, and the show ends on them brawling still. So, it was so underwhelming, man. Let's get into the pipe bombs of the week, shall we? Braun Breaker and Joe Hendry deserve so much fucking more, and I'll add Damian Priest because I talked about it a few minutes ago. What are we doing? They were such fucking push people, and now we just, shit on their entire existence. Bullshit. They need to figure it the fuck out. Did Sol Ruka lose the title because she's been so botchy? She didn't have it for long, and it was a very underwhelming title reign. She actually just did a interview on Busted Open Radio saying that Triple H told her, "It's not because you're doing anything wrong, we just need you to be a babyface, yada yada yada." Last I knew, babyfaces could hold titles too, so do we have another excuse? I don't know. I feel like, one, they put it on her too early, and two, didn't really give her a chance. She wasn't ready for that. WWE fucked up bringing in racist ass Ryan Garcia into the fold. There was zero need for that. He is a horrible human being in so many ways. They could have found somebody that isn't scummy if they wanted cheap heat that bad for a mid-card match. That's gross behavior and booking. I do not like that. I am so sick of biting of the foreheads in wrestling. Why is it so common these days? It's so fucking weird to me. Yeah, let me just mid-match gnaw on this guy's forehead in the corner. Why? Why are we doing that? When did this become a thing? Why, for the love of fuck, does Willow win that match with a backslide? Let alone that's how she becomes the first AEW Grand Slam champion. That's horrible fucking booking. Let her win with her finisher. You make it look cheap and like she doesn't deserve it with a fucking backslide. That pissed me off. But at least she won, right? Now, why? I don't know if I did this last week or the week before, but like it's still bothering me. So, why does Collision have so many squash and jobber matches? Like, I understand it's their B show, but like, come on. Um, Mara, I think it's pronounced Sade. Jakara Jackson. She was in NXT before. She's apparently a free agent now. She was with TNA. I talked greatly about her a couple weeks ago. She's still in the tournament though, and now she's a free agent. So I wonder if she'll just make a deal with them for that match and take an L and go elsewhere. If she'll re-sign with TNA, who knows? I hope Aldis continues wrestling and that this isn't a one-off. He is a phenomenal wrestler. If you don't know any of his stuff, go look up his matches and feuds with Cody Rhodes, his stuff in TNA. He's got so much good shit. His NWA shit. The go-home shows for SummerSlam. Raw. God awful. Probably better than SmackDown. SmackDown. Horrendous. You got your summer's version of WrestleMania, and you put out two of the worst shows that you've had all year. That's not making me feel good about fucking SummerSlam, but hey, I hope I'm wrong and that we get a good one. So, anyways, that has been it this week. I will be putting out a video for SummerSlam predictions, so keep your eye out for that. I will remind you guys on that video what I'm about to tell you. I am going out for surgery this Thursday. It is Saturday currently of filming. So I don't know if I will have it in me to, for the next like week or two, put out podcast episodes. I will probably be doing like my content, like the YouTube shorts and the reels and stuff that I put out on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. So go follow me on all of those. Hardcam Heat, obviously. And I'll post as much wrestling content as I can, but I also am going to be focusing on my recovery because it's not going to be a fun one. So, with that being said, that is it this week for Hardcam Heat. If you got something to say about it, good. That means I'm doing my job. For the next couple of weeks, probably, I will see you later and catch some heat.